You ever have that feeling in a conversation where something just feels off? You can't quite put your finger on it, but you know something's not right. Well, what if the biggest clues weren't in what someone's saying, but in what their body is doing? Today, we're going to decode those unspoken signs of manipulation, because what someone doesn't say can tell you everything you need to know. So here's the big question. Can you really spot manipulation just by looking at somebody? And the answer, surprisingly, is yeah. A lot of the time you can. You see, manipulators tend to leave a trail of these little nonverbal clues, physical tells that are basically giant red flags. Learning to spot them isn't just a cool party trick. It's a really important skill for navigating, well, pretty much every part of your life. Think about it. A manipulator's #1 tool is deception. They are masters with their words. But here's the thing. The body is a whole lot harder to control. It has this pesky habit of leaking the truth they're trying so desperately to hide. So today, we're going to break down 5 of the most common physical signs that can blow a manipulator's cover. Okay, first up, dominance. This is so key. At their core, manipulators are all about control, and they often try to establish that control before anyone even says a word. It all starts with their physical presence, how they carry themselves, and maybe most importantly, how they use their eyes. A lot of times, this comes off as this over-the-top, almost fake confidence. You might see this really stiff posture, chin held high, that holier-than-thou look. Or they might literally take up too much space, spreading out in a chair, standing with their hands on their hips, anything to seem bigger and more intimidating. Other classics, clasping their hands behind their back like a professor, or folding their arms tightly across their chest. Every single one is a calculated move to project power. Now, how they use their eyes is really fascinating because it can go in 2 totally opposite directions, but for the exact same reason: control. First, you've got the laser gaze, this intense, piercing stare that's designed to make you feel small, to intimidate you. But then, they can pull a complete 180 and deliberately look away while you're talking, maybe scanning the room like they're looking for someone better to talk to. Both tactics are meant to do one thing: dismiss you and make them feel like they're in charge. And here is a really chilling one to look out for: the glassy eyes. You look into their eyes and there's just nothing there, a total lack of real emotion, even if they're telling a story that should be incredibly emotional. This can get so extreme that they'll even fake crying. You'll see the scrunched up face, the quivering lip, but there are no actual tears. It's a performance, and the empty, glassy eyes are the giveaway. Okay, so let's zoom in a little closer onto the face itself. A manipulator works overtime to keep up this friendly, sincere mask. But their true feelings? Oh, they often betray them in these tiny, split-second movements we call microexpressions. So while they might be giving you this big, charming smile, their face is telling a completely different story. Just for a fraction of a second, you might see a flash of contempt, or mockery, or total disbelief. These little twitches are almost impossible to control, and they reveal the hostile thoughts that are bubbling just under the surface. So what should you actually be looking for? Keep an eye out for a little one-sided smirk. That's not a real smile, that's pure scorn. Or how about a single raised eyebrow, maybe with a little head tilt? That's a classic sign of disbelief, meant to make you question yourself. You might also catch a super quick eye roll when they think your head is turned, or just notice their lips pressed into a thin, tight line. That's pure bottled up anger. All right, let's move on to our third sign: gestures. This is all about what people do with their hands and body when they talk. And with manipulators, their gestures just feel weird for the situation. They usually swing from one extreme to the other. And here's that duality again. On one hand, you might see these wild, huge gestures. The movements are way too big, way too dramatic for what they're saying. It's a tactic to seem more passionate and convincing, or honestly, to distract you while they're telling a lie. But then you can see the total opposite. They just freeze. All of a sudden, their hands vanish, maybe shoved in their pockets. They might even stop blinking as much. That's because their brain is working so hard to build the lie that it just shuts down all the normal, natural body movements. Okay, now we're getting to the most direct, in-your-face signs. And they're all about boundaries. This covers 2 really big things: how a manipulator literally invades your personal space, and, more importantly, how you can actually respond and take it back. I love this phrase for it: stepping into your aura. This is when someone purposely gets into your personal bubble, standing just that little bit too close for comfort. And let's be clear, this is not an accident. It's a power move. It's designed to make you feel uncomfortable, a little threatened, and put you on the back foot. And just like that, they've got control of the situation. And this invasion of space pretty quickly turns into unwanted physical contact. It might seem casual, a hand on your shoulder to guide you somewhere, a little touch on your arm to make a point, but don't be mistaken. Any kind of touch you didn't ask for is a clear tactic to assert dominance and claim ownership over your personal space. So, what do you do when this happens? Here is a super simple but really powerful 3-step plan. First, just name the behavior. Say something like, "You're standing really close." Second, state your boundary, loud and clear. "I'd prefer if you didn't touch me." And third, if they do it again, just repeat it firmly. "Like I said, please don't touch me." This isn't about starting a fight. It's about calmly and confidently taking your space back. Look, the whole point of this isn't to make you paranoid or to see manipulators behind every corner. It's about being empowered. When you start to see a pattern of these behaviors in someone, that's your cue to be careful. It's a really good reason not to share personal information with them, and just to be smart about the relationship. It's all about protecting yourself. At the end of the day, awareness is your best tool. Just knowing these signs exist lets you see behind the mask and understand what's really going on in a dynamic. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Moving forward, what will you be paying a little more attention to? Thanks so much for tuning in.